In 2018, the largest cable show by viewership was The Big Bang Theory, with 17 million on average, while today it's FBI, with less than 10. Along the drastic decline in viewership, ratings have plummeted. In news just alone this year, CNN is down by 13%, Fox News by 8%. Last year wasn't any better, as compared to the prior year, CNN fell down by 21%, MSNBC by 22%, and Fox by 23%. A survey conducted in February of this year showed that only 42% of adults in the US are even subscribed to cable, that number being up by 5% just 2 years prior. What happened, and where did they go wrong? Well, there's two essential factors to look at, and today I'll break it down for you. This is why cable's on its way out. The companies. Cable companies are known for being horrible. Between their hidden fees and shoddy customer service, they aren't necessarily popular for the right reasons. For example, Comcast. On the American Customer Satisfaction Index, customers rate Comcast just a 60 out of 100 for its internet service, 58 out of 100 for its subscription television service, and 65 out of 100 for its fixed line telephone service. Lower in the industry than the averages of 64 and 70% respectively. They were also voted the worst company in America in a tournament hosted by the Consumerists. Here are some real headlines about Comcast. An employee got an angry customer fired from their job.
This very well could rank up there with the nastiest customer service battle ever. A California accountant says complaining about his cable service cost him his job. Connell O'Rourke was fired early this year from PricewaterhouseCoopers. Connell O'Rourke and his attorney, Maureen Pettibone Ryan, join us this morning from Mountain View, California, where it is awfully early. Thanks for getting up to tell us this tale. Good morning to the both of you. I'm going to take you back to 2013 and sort of give the hits, runs, and errors. Let me see if I have this right. Connell, you had a series of issues with your service, internet speed, billing issues, et cetera, that you tried to get resolved. At first, they were sort of half-heartedly, seemingly addressed. Your work takes you out of the country for a couple of months. You return to see things that you had hoped to be resolved were not resolved, and in fact had gotten worse, including you found a delivery of expensive equipment at your door, things you didn't order. You decide to go down to a Comcast store to rectify it, and let's just say it didn't go well. You then took it to corporate, and that's where things went sideways. Have I got it right?
You have it absolutely right.
They went to his employer, and they told his employer that he had tried to use their name as leverage, that he had violated accounting ethics. That's not a minor charge to make. That's not... they knew what was going to happen once they made that complaint. So that in their apology to Connell, which we learned about from reporters contacting us, they actually didn't reach out to Connell with this apology. We found it online just like everyone else. They say, oh, well, we didn't ask him for him to be fired. But it's sort of very imprecise language that leaves open, you know, the fact that they did, and they've admitted that they started an ethics investigation against him.
PricewaterhouseCoopers says that you violated the terms of the ethical standards and practices. You are aware, as an accountant, about those ethics and practices, are you not?
Correct.
But do you feel that you overstepped? I mean, you know better than anybody the types of things that you should say. Do you feel?
No,
Go ahead.
No, I do not believe that. And they had a very limited investigation, so I was on the phone for directionally less than 25 minutes. Then the next thing I know that I had been terminated, and there was my input was not even relevant.
An employee literally stole a customer's identity. They've called their customers several mean names like asshole brown, whore, and super bitch, both over the phone and on their mail. And finally, they were so unbearable, Worcester, Massachusetts kicked them out of the entire town. This one might need a little more context. The city council stated that, in their opinion, Comcast should not be welcome in their city. Comcast is a wolf in wolf's clothing. It's that bad. They are awful, no doubt about it. Obviously, Comcast isn't the only option when it comes to this form of streaming, but looking at their competitors isn't much better, as who wants a clunky dish on the side of their house? And along with Dish, many of these companies, like Charter Spectrum, have simply horrible reviews when it comes to their customer service. Spectrum is terrible on all levels. The service disconnects me constantly while conducting important work. They overcharge as they please with no oversight. They increased my price 5 times. I started with $34.99. I'm at $84.99 now, and no one there can justify the $50 increase with no change to service. They are a shady, coinciding people that exploit their customers, especially when they have a monopoly in your area of residence. Do not conduct business with them. And worse customer service. Bills are frequently incorrect. The only cable Wi-Fi provider in my area is now $84.99 a month for Wi-Fi only at a lowest speed, and we are stuck with no other options. What a ripoff. So you might be wondering, if they're so bad, then why do people use them? Well, simply there are no other options. You might be aware that usually there aren't many cable or internet options readily available at any given location. This is because of the local government. They sign with these streaming and internet providers into 5, 10, 15, or even possibly 20-year contracts for exclusive ISP, internet service providers, making them the only option. But as we have been seeing, these deals are getting less and less frequent, or at least it looks like it. And the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, even banned landlords from striking similar exclusivity deals for these companies with a revenue sharing basis. Essentially put, if tenants wanted to use Verizon, for example, then Verizon would give a landlord the cut of the profit, but that's no longer allowed. People are also getting smarter and realizing that although their local government may have control over their wires and dishes, they have no say in anything wireless, like cellular or satellite services, which brings us to the next reason why cable's grave is already dug. The rise of streaming. Over the past few years, on-demand streaming services like Netflix and Hulu have risen through the ranks, even surpassing cable in members and viewership. Netflix currently has 223 million members, and Hulu is behind at just 106 million, not to mention other sites like Disney+, ESPN+, Paramount+. Okay, these people need more creative names, but you get it. There's just way too many options to still be stuck channel surfing. Netflix's Squid Game has been watched by over 142 million people. Let's go back to those cable numbers. FBI, the most watched cable show, only has around 9.6 million viewers on a good day, which is great and all, but comparing these two number ones, streaming is demolishing cable by 1,479%. And you might be like, oh, well, you can watch the Netflix show whenever you want, but you can only watch the cable show when it's airing live or on demand if the videos are even available. But that's the reason people like streaming. Simply put, it's just better and more convenient. And if we're taking into account YouTube, subscribe please, I'm desperate, which is not only beating cable but widely considered the world's second largest streaming engine, then the old form of television is really dead. Like, really, really dead. Deceased. As many of you guys have said, or as many have said, I don't know if you've said it, the cord is cut and streaming isn't what it once was. There's no longer a need to put a disc on your roof and spend hours or countless dollars wasted because of greedy cable companies and horrible customer service. Just Netflix it.